Today's video is so kindly sponsored by Squarespace. Hi there, welcome to your Pick a Card Tarot readings for the month of November and Scorpio season. In this video, I have selected a card for each of the three groups to help you choose. These cards are from the Cosmic Oracle deck by Carmen Bello, and I've also selected crystals for each group. And if you're watching this at the time of upload, you might notice that there are certain planetary transits, astrological events playing out in the readings energetically. I can't be certain since we haven't gone into them yet, but that's just something to pay attention to if you'd like. If you're watching this at a different time, that's also okay, because these are energy predictions and energy is timeless since we're all on different timelines. What matters is that you clicked on this video and now you're connecting with me energetically. So that means energies in this video are probably relevant to your situation right now, and there are probably things you need to hear in this video. So stay tuned, and we're going to do a quick meditation to get centered before we look at the readings today. I have my singing bowl over here, so I'm going to ring this 3 times. With each ring, take a deep breath in and a complete exhale out. Soften your gaze and relax the space between your eyebrows. Allow your cheeks to droop and lower your jaw. Lower your shoulders and begin to melt into your seat. Grounding into your seat, soften your entire body. And begin to concentrate all of your awareness into your heart space. Bring all of your awareness into your heart space. For the readings today, be sure to listen from your heart center. Listen for what resonates emotionally. Listen for what lights you up, what sparks interest. Listen for what gives you a sense of peace and calm. Your intuition lies here. Now, if you're ready, you can open your eyes and look at the 3 groups today. For group 1, we have the leader. Some keywords are influence, courage, benevolence, and the number associated with it is 47. And the crystal associated with group 1 is amethyst. For group 2, we have the earth element, body, belongings, midheaven. We have number 4 for group 2 and labradorite. For group 3, we have the card vulnerability. Some keywords are showing up, honesty, communion. We have the number 23 and the crystal black obsidian. Now with your eyes softened, notice which image stands out to you. Notice which crystal stands out to you. You can also listen to the numbers as I repeat them to notice which group stands out to you. Is it group 1, 47? Group 2, 4? Or group 3, 23? Which group do you feel drawn to? Where do you feel a pull? And of course, you don't have to think too hard. There really is no right or wrong answer. You can have messages in more than one reading. So simply choose one group to get started with, and you're welcome to listen to the rest later if you want to. Once you've chosen your reading, you can go down to the timestamps below to click on your reading, and I'll see you over there. If you chose group 1, amethyst, or the card, the leader, number 47, then this is your reading. Hi group 1, thanks for being here. So we're going to get started with tarot. For that, I'll be using the light seers today, and we're going to pull some cards for your current energies. Group 1, what do you want us to know about your current situation? Group 1, what do we need to know about your current situation? We have the Four of Pentacles, Page of Wands, and the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man, being the only major arcana here, signifies that this is the lesson you are currently learning in your situation, and the other two cards illustrate the situation. I'm seeing a transition from a sense of stuckness and maybe resorting from the comfort zone to taking action and having creative inspiration. I'm going to pull a couple cards from Marcel's Oracle deck regarding this. Maybe one more. we have inertia, out with the old, and collection. So what this looks like to me is, it seems like you've been in a phase of inertia for a while now. You've been holding your coins close to your chest and sticking to what you find familiar and comfortable. Things have been simple up until now, in the sense that you didn't really have much energy or desire to do more than you needed to do. So there was a lot of sticking to the comfort zone, and maybe that also felt like stuckness as well. That's basically what the Four of Pentacles energy is. It's when we get comfortable with what we have and we become protective of it. So the best way to put it is, this is your comfort zone, and it seems like you're letting it go now, out with the old. So it's like you're wanting to get into the growth zone now. You're wanting to take a step beyond what you were used to and comfortable with. With the Page of Wands and collection, it looks like you're wanting to ground some ideas into reality. In the Rider-Waite image of the Page of Wands, he has his wand touching the ground to symbolize that he wants to take his creative energy and manifest it into something tangible and solid. So when we get the Page of Wands, it's usually signifying a start of a project and having the desire and impulse to take action on your ideas and creative inspiration. It seems like this has to do with your output to society, to the collective. Perhaps you're wanting to be of service to your community now. You're wanting to make a name for yourself and contribute your energy in a way that you know other people cannot. So it seems like recently there's been a desire ignited in you to be creative and contribute to the collective that you're a part of. The Hanged Man, however, tells us that perhaps things aren't really flowing just yet. Things still feel stuck. The Hanged Man hangs himself upside down deliberately in order to learn a very important lesson of meditation on perspective. So he puts his progress to a halt on purpose in order to gain perspective before he treads forward differently, or with more perspective, with more wisdom. So when we get this card, that's what we have to do in our situation. It can feel like stuckness to the ego. The ego can get very impatient and lost and confused when we're in this energy, but oftentimes we also hear our higher selves when we're in this energy, and our higher selves know that we must wait and be patient, and that's the only way that we can get the right sort of guidance in order to tread forward properly. So that's your current energy. Now let's get some cards for what you need to hear right now. What advice does tarot have for you? I have so many decks in front of me. Let's start with the Moonology deck. Group 1. What do you need to know, Group 1? Oh, I love this. You have Leo and Aquarius energy. I am a Leo sun and Aquarius moon, so I love to see this. For New Moon in Leo, you have confidence is your key to success. And you have New Moon in Aquarius, bring love into the situation. With the confidence card, I get that you are revamping how you see yourself. There's a lot in regards to shifting your self-concept during this time in order to move ahead properly. So maybe this is why you are learning the lesson of the Hangman. Unless your self-concept is correct, unless you learn to see yourself as who you really are, you cannot actualize this creative inspiration that you are feeling. So with confidence, with this card, the advice is to build confidence in how you see yourself and how you present yourself to the world. And that can only happen through repetition, through repeatedly showing yourself and proving to yourself that you are capable, right? That's what confidence really is. It's not something you can fake. That's my opinion. I don't think it's something you can fake. I think it's about evidence and proof. You have to do something over and over again successfully in order to prove to yourself that you can be confident in it. It's about capability and skill. So if you want to find confidence in your self-concept, learn self-trust, consider repetition and consider finding proof and evidence for yourself. With New Moon in Aquarius, bring love into the situation. This is about accepting the lesson of the Hangman, that you need to be patient, you need to be consistent, and you need to see the bigger picture. You need to have perspective. And that's really the only thing you can do right now in your situation, is to see it with compassion. Let's get a couple more cards. I'm going to go with the Osho deck, actually. What do we need to hear from Osho regarding your situation? Ooh. You have mind, and I believe this is the Knight of Swords. I'm going to go into the guidebook to read to you what this card is about. This is the Page of Swords. This is what happens when we forget that the mind is meant to be a servant and start to allow it to run our lives. The head is filled with mechanisms, the mouth is ranting and raving, and the whole surrounding atmosphere is being polluted by this factory of arguments and opinions. But wait, you say, the mind is what makes us human, is the source of all progress, all great truths. If you believe that, try an experiment. Go into your room, shut the door, turn on a tape recorder, and give yourself total permission to say whatever is on your mind. If you really allow it to all come out without any censorship or editing, you'll be amazed at the amount of rubbish that comes spewing forth. The Page of Clouds is telling you that somebody, somewhere, is stuck in a head trip. Take a look and make sure it isn't you. Osho says, this is the situation of your head. I see bicycle handles and pedals and strange things that you have gathered from everywhere. Such a small head and no space to live in. And that rubbish goes on moving in your head. Your head goes on spinning and weaving. It keeps you occupied. Just think what kinds of thoughts go on inside your mind. One day, just sit, close your doors, and write down for half an hour whatsoever is passing in your mind. And you will understand what I mean. And you will be surprised what goes on in your mind. It remains in the background. It is constantly there. It surrounds you like a cloud. With this cloud, you cannot know reality. You cannot attain spiritual perception. This cloud has to be dropped. And it is just with your decision to drop it that it will disappear. You are clinging to it. The cloud is not interested in you, remember. How fitting that Osho says you are clinging to the thoughts in your mind, very much like the Four Pentacles with the woman clinging to her purse. You have become used to and attached to the ways you think and the ways your mind works, and it seems like the central message up until now with all the cards that we have gotten is that you have to declutter the mind and reorganize your thoughts, the way you see yourself, the way you want to present yourself, in order to be able to be a proper Page of Wands and actualize this creative inspiration that has awakened in you. So this is about decluttering and reorganization, mostly internally, mostly in regards to how you see yourself, and building confidence around that in an authentic way, not in a fake or pretentious way. I really don't believe in fake it till you make it. Honestly, I really don't believe in it. I think it needs to come gradually and in a grounded, authentic way. Otherwise, that false tower is going to crumble eventually. It needs to be built on solid foundations. It needs to be built on truth and not false beliefs about yourself. So consider that as you do this work of revising your self-concept. Let's get some Work Your Light cards now. What else does Group 1 need to hear? Yeah, there we go. So start with a solid foundation. Start with authenticity. Start with truth. Get grounded. Empath, highly sensitives, connect with nature. Start from the ground up. Do not get lost with the crazy thoughts that are already going on in your head. They will only lead you further away from where you're meant to go, right? You cannot solve problems with in the same mindset that created the problem itself. So get grounded, come back down to earth, reveal truths about yourself to yourself, and build your confidence from there. The initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. So with this card, I think it's really important that you prove to yourself that you're not going to look back anymore. You have to make it clear to your mind that you are planning to move forward and you are not planning to regress. So what that means is perhaps ritualizing a rite of passage for yourself, whatever that looks like. perform an initiation that can make it clear to your psyche that from now on you're going to do things differently, that this is a significant shift that you're making, and there's no looking back once you take this leap of faith forward. So perform an initiation ritual. Alright, now let's get some cards for your future energies and maybe additional advice if there are any. Group 1. Oh, nice. Awesome. I like to see these cards. So we have the King of Swords. This confirms to us that yes, you are supposed to be seeking the truth right now. The King of Swords is only concerned with truth. He doesn't care about how much you believe in your false beliefs. He only cares about getting to the truth, getting to the core of things. Everything else falls short. The King of Swords is about speaking your truth, communicating honestly and with clarity, seeing reality with complete clarity, seeing the truth of reality and not what you want to believe. He's very matter-of-fact. His mind is very sharp. His words are sharp. He's concise and clear because that's how well he knows himself. Because he knows himself so well, he also knows the world very well. He knows reality very well. So your priority here should be getting to the King of Swords, getting to the point where you can embody this person. Concern yourself with finding out about the truth of reality and the truth of who you are. That's going to give you confidence, instead of trying to believe in things that you know deep down you don't actually believe in. You're just fooling yourself then. If you don't believe certain things, question it. Why don't I believe this? Right? If you don't believe that you are loved, ask yourself, why do I believe I'm not loved? Why do I believe I'm unlovable? That'll get you to your answer. And then you'll arrive at the truth that you are loved. So if you need to do shadow work, do so. Journal like this. Why don't I believe this? Why don't I see this in myself? And that will get you to the truth of the matter. So concern yourself with becoming the King of Swords. And in the near future, you're going to feel momentum picking up, but it's not going to feel fast and furious. The Six of Swords energy is calmer than that. It's going to feel as if you can sense higher power gently nudging you forward and guiding you, and all you really have to do is take one lazy step in front of the other. And it's going to feel like you're on this boat and someone's rowing the boat, and there's nothing you have to do. You know that you're moving towards calmer shores, and that's all that matters. So this energy is in your near future. When this happens, trust it. Do not busy yourself by trying to cling to the momentum. Just trust it and taking one step at a time. This also signifies travel, maybe, that you're going to be moving between spaces. You might be going to spaces that you've never been to. So an example of that could be travel, like as a tourist and going to a city you've never been to. But perhaps a more relatable example is simply ending up in spaces that feel calm but unfamiliar, if that makes sense. It's like you're meeting new people and you're kind of enjoying their company even though you don't know who they are and you've just met. Or you find this new cafe that you've never been to, but you really like it and you like the ambiance, and so you sit there for 3 hours to work. It's like that. It's like going into spaces that feel calm but new. You also have the Lovers. I love to see this because this means you're going to get on track. You're going to get on the right path. The Lovers is about making choices, very important choices that take us to higher and higher timelines. And something that I want to relate to you that I heard in a podcast the other day is the most mundane choices that have the biggest impact on our lives. Like, consider brushing your teeth. If you don't brush your teeth for a day, no one's going to notice. It's such a mundane task. You can easily forget it for a day. But if you don't brush your teeth every single day for a whole year, that is going to have pretty major consequences, right? You're going to end up with cavities, your gums are going to hurt, you're going to have to go to the dentist is going to hate you for it, people are going to smell the state of your mouth, right? So it's these little choices we make on a day-to-day basis that take us towards our highest timeline. It really isn't about the big stuff. We sweat the big stuff so much and we paralyze ourselves in analysis paralysis. But maybe it's time that you focus more on the little stuff. Like, pay attention to when your mind goes, let's not brush our teeth today. Or let's watch one more episode on Netflix. Or maybe we should get takeout instead of cooking. Or let's get KFC instead of a salad bowl. You know, it's these little things that eventually add up, and I know you've heard this so many times, but I wanted to relay this message with the Lovers because that's what this card is about. So many people see this card and they think it's about romantic love. It really isn't. This is about love in the sense that it's about unconditional love and total self-liberation and freedom, but it's not about romance. Romance can take us there sometimes when we're brave enough, when we have that courage that's heart-centered, but in truth, this card is about making choices, and making choices that are aligned to your heart and to the values that you stand for. One that we all have is around self-liberation, finding a sense of freedom in the way we live. So focus on the little tasks on a day-to-day basis, and that will get you to embodying this energy in the near future. So that was a lot of advice. Maybe we can get some future predictions before we go. Group 1, what do you need to know? Oh, 8 of Wands. Okay. So long story short, I know you're feeling stuck right now. Things are stagnant, but things will get chaotic and momentous in the future. I can't tell you how soon, but it is coming. And I think your spirit guides want you to know that life is not always so boring or stale or slow. Life can be fast and chaotic and messy and fun and passionate. That is in the cards for you. But you can only get here if you surrender to what you must experience right now, and that's mostly encapsulated in the Hanged Man. So stay repetitive, stay consistent, stay committed. Focus on the mundane tasks of your everyday life. Practice repetition to prove to yourself that you can be confident in yourself, and the passion and the zest that you are craving will come in the future. Wow. So that was your reading, Group 1. I hope that you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments below if it resonated. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. I'm sending you so much love, light, and healing. And I'll see you in another reading or in another video. Bye. If you chose group 2, labradorite, or the card, the earth element, number 4, and this is your reading. Hi, group 2. So for you guys, I'm going to be using the Lightseers deck. Let's guess some cards for your current energies. What's in your energy currently, group 2? What can we know about your current situation, group 2? This looks like a message that came through in the last tarot video. I believe we have the 2 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups, and Queen of Swords. So you're currently juggling 2 worlds, and there is one world that you must leave behind. So you've been spreading yourself too thin by thinking you can do everything and keep everything afloat, when the truth is there is this big call for you to walk away from one pentacle in order to commit fully to the other. This could be juggling 2 jobs, juggling 2 connections, or being in between spaces and needing to fully transition your way out of one space and in order to commit to another. When you have to walk away, or maybe you're already in the process of walking away, there's something here about needing to be decisive. The Queen of Swords can be sometimes cold or harsh with her words. She's very sharp. Her words are cutting. And that's part of her character. When we get this archetype, we need to be like this. She gets the job done. She does not care too much about feeling. She is just very matter of fact and communicates in a very concise, rational way that gets the job done, that delivers her ideas without any emotional obstruction. And you're in this space where you need to be like the Queen of Swords. Let's get some cards from Marcel's Oracle deck. Can you tell us more? Spirit, tell us more for group 2. Okay. Tell us more. I'm going to get another tarot card to clarify. Interesting. We have the jester, and angel. And I'm reminded of the Rider-Waite image for the 2 of Pentacles, and that's of a jester juggling. So I wanted to clarify, why we got this card and if there's any connection between the 2. For clarification, we have the 3 of Swords, which makes this even more confusing than it already was. So you know how sometimes we use comedy to as a tool to process difficult things, or we use it as a way to mitigate the impact of difficult experiences. It seems like you've been doing that by juggling a lot, is you've been avoiding the stress that's really at the root of all of this. You've been spreading yourself thin, keeping yourself busy with a lot of things and a lot of tasks and obligations because you haven't been ready to face the pain that's underneath. The root of all of this stressing and nonstop action and doing is pain. It's wounding, heartache, betrayal, abandonment. You need to really allow yourself to feel this pain if you want to let go of the stress that's contributing to all of this nonstop doing and finally walk away once and for all. It's time to reduce the noise that's in your life. It's like TV static, you know? There's just been a lot going on. There's a lot of noise. And it's time to reduce that noise and experience some clarity with the Queen of Swords. We have the angel here. So I get the sense that your higher self comes through sometimes to give you this message that it's time to walk away from all of this chaos, messiness, drama, noise, TV static. Walk away so you can take a breath of fresh air. That's kind of what I think of sometimes when I see this card. Just the fact that she's up on this mountain and the sky is clear and the birds are flying freely. It's time to take a deep breath of fresh air. It's time to bring back a sense of clarity and crispness. What else does group 2 need to hear? So Spirit's wanting to also affirm that your intentions were correct in trying to juggle everything. I think in that the wisdom that you were carrying was you wanted to walk the middle path. You wanted to be accepting of polarity and learn to hold space for it all. Because notice the similarities between these two cards. In the Two of Pentacles, you have these two pentacles. In the Temperance card, you have the Sun and the Moon. They're both juggling, you could say. There's more balance in Temperance. There's more recognition that what you are juggling are polarities, and you are in between the two. You are walking the middle path. So I think your intentions were correct in trying to hold space for everything. But that must happen at a subtler level. That has to happen at an emotional level. With Temperance, we are holding space for the polarity on the emotional spectrum, and we are allowing ourselves to be detached, to have perspective on our emotionality. Whereas with the Two of Pentacles, this is working with the physical world and material things, and the two are energetically different. You can't extend yourself that far in physical reality because you are just one person and you only have so much energy for the physical world. But energetically, you can go so far and beyond with your consciousness and how much you can hold space for internally. So hold space for your emotions, for the pain that needs to be processed. And have strong boundaries when it comes to your physical reality. Protect your energy so that you can give to yourself, so you can give consciousness to what's within and what needs to be looked at. Protect your energy, have strong boundaries, so you can practice temperance, this balancing of strong emotions and not losing yourself in it. Now let's get an Osho card. It's been a while since I've used this deck. Group 2, what do you need to hear? Group 2. Ooh. You have the Eight of Swords, guilt. I'm going to go into the guidebook to read to you what this card is about. Guilt is one of the most destructive emotions in which we can get caught. If we have wronged another or gone against our own truth, then of course we will feel bad. But to let ourselves be overwhelmed with guilt is to invite a migraine. We end up surrounded by nagging clouds of self-doubt and feelings of worthlessness, to the point where we cannot see any of the beauty and joy that life is trying to offer us. We all long to be better people, more loving, more aware, more true to ourselves. But when we punish ourselves for our failures by feeling guilty, we can get locked into a cycle of despair and hopelessness that robs us of all clarity about ourselves and the situations which we encounter. You're absolutely okay as you are, and it is absolutely natural to go astray from time to time. Just to learn from it, move on, and use the lesson not to make the same mistake again. And Osho says, this moment, this here now, is forgotten when you start thinking in terms of achieving something. When the achieving mind arises, you lose contact with the paradise you are in. When you drop the idea of meaning and goal, it is one of the most liberating approaches. It liberates you right now. Forget all about sin and forget all about saintliness. Both are stupid. Both together have destroyed all the joys of humanity. The sinner is feeling guilt, hence his joy is lost. How can you enjoy life if you are continuously feeling guilty? If you are continuously going to church to confess that you have done this wrong and that wrong, and wrong and wrong and wrong, your whole life seems to be made of sins, how can you live joyously? It becomes impossible to delight in life. You become heavy, loaded. Guilt sits on your chest like a rock. It crushes you. It does not allow you to dance. How can you dance? How can guilt dance? How can guilt sing? How can guilt love? How can guilt live? So the one who thinks he is doing something wrong is guilty, burdened, dead before death, has already entered the grave. So it seems to me by the cards that are present here, like some of you are spreading yourself thin because there is a residual pain that you have not looked at, which is contributing to a feeling of guilt, or maybe could be shame if guilt doesn't resonate, or obligation. Is this feeling like you have to do this, like you have a lot of duties, you have to commit to a lot of things and you find it hard to say no because a part of you feels obligated, either out of guilt or shame or what is the word? Loyalty. Yeah, it could be loyalty. So there's some sense of obligation, and that's what's spreading you thin. And I believe the Queen of Swords came up at the beginning because on the surface, if you do choose to walk away from one of these pentacles in order to clear up your life, it's not going to look good. It might look like you are betraying some people in your life, leaving them behind, or you're being heartless. It's not going to look good. It might not be well received. But the Queen of Swords is not a bad person. The Queen of Swords is just very sharp. She's sharp, she's smart, she's intelligent, and she has good boundaries. She knows how to communicate her boundaries, even at the expense of looking mean or distasteful. So, if you have to be this person, be her. She's not a bad person. And if you get haters along the way, that's going to have to be your sacrifice. If they make a fuss about you walking away or putting boundaries in place, chances are they probably benefited also from you not having boundaries. They probably benefited from taking your energy. So that's something to consider as well if you fear looking unkind or displeasing people. Okay, now let's get some Work Your Light cards. What does group 2 need to know? What does group 2 need to know? Mintakan, longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. So there's this sense of returning home, returning to simplicity, cutting out the noise, the distractions, so that you can come back to yourself with more clarity, so that you can center yourself. That's what you're doing here. You're actually coming home. You're returning to yourself, finding center, cutting out the noise and distractions. There you go, unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. You're releasing those attached to you who have been benefiting you but pulling you down and holding you back. As a result of that, you're releasing these soul contracts and patterns that do not benefit you. You might feel called to do a cord cutting ritual. That could be helpful at this time. To intentionally cut these connections that have been draining you. This came through for group 1 as well. Initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. And I'm realizing that we're reading for Scorpio season, which traditionally is known as a time where the veil is thin and we can connect with spirits more easily. So with that said, there are a lot more energetic portals also available for you to take advantage of. So during this time, make sure you perform a rite of passage that you can use to make it clear to yourself that you've walked away from one pentacle in order to commit to the other. that you're making this shift and you're releasing soul patterns and contracts. Make it clear to yourself that you are in fact crossing this threshold and entering that portal. You have to perform an initiation. You have to ritualize this process so that it's clear to yourself that there's no looking back and you are in fact letting go. So I think this has been rather hard for you to do if you also received this message with my last tarot video, because we're talking about it again here. So you've probably been struggling with this letting go and with this decisive transition. So it can be helpful if you really ritualize this transition as a rite of passage. Let's get one more card before we go into future energies. You know what? Actually, Spirit's telling me to leave that as it is. Oh. Okay, future energies. What do we need to know for the near future? Oh, I love that. You have the Queen of Pentacles, and you have the Magician, Ace of Wands, and Four of Swords. So with the Queen of Pentacles and the Four of Swords, I see this as you nurturing the pentacle that you are going to choose with silence, with peace and calm around you, with more spaciousness and energy in general. The Four of Swords is about resting, rejuvenation, regeneration, and taking the time and space we need to heal. So this is restoring spaciousness and healing that static, healing the TV static that we can experience as inner stress and tension in the body. So I really see this as you healing and finding quiet, peace, and calm within yourself, which will then give you space to cultivate the pentacle that you have chosen. This pentacle can be your career, it can be a home, it can be your body. It's material things in this time and space reality that you care about, that brings you wealth, that brings you security, stability, health, and all the good things that matter to humans. So I see you having the spaciousness to cultivate it moving forward and feeling very resourceful and abundant as a result of that, feeling secure in yourself. And the Magician with the Ace of Wands tells me after that, because of the clarity that you're going to have, you'll be able to receive more creative inspiration and impulses to take action in a creative way, to make something of yourself and manifest according to your intuition and, what you channel. This is more creativity, more spontaneity, more life, more charisma, more fire. And I want to keep it vague because I don't think you need to be bombarded with the thought of what this is going to be. At this time, it's just a matter of letting go to create spaciousness and calm. And, when the Ace of Wands arrives, you will know. So it's not really necessary to ponder on this for the time being, but know there will come a time where you'll have energy again to take action, to be spontaneous, to have fun, to be sexy and passionate, and to create. That will come in due time. Okay. Let's get a Moonology card to wrap this up. confidence is your key to success. New Moon in Leo. And I'm hearing choose yourself. You really have to love yourself enough in your situation to do this. Choose yourself. It's time to stop sacrificing yourself. That's what Spirit's wanting to say. Stop sacrificing yourself. Stop giving yourself away. Stop draining your energy. Choose yourself. Be confident in how you go about that as well. There's no need to feel guilty in how you go about it. Be the Queen of Swords. Be sharp. If that appears harsh to certain people, then so be it. You gotta be the Queen of Swords and choose yourself at this time. Alright, that was your reading, Group 2. I hope that you found this helpful. Thank you so much for listening. Let me know how it went for you in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. I'm sending you so much love, light, and healing. And I'll see you in the next reading, in another reading, or in another video. If you chose Group 3, Black Obsidian, or the card Vulnerability, number 23, then this is your reading. Hi, Group 3, welcome. So we're going to get started with tarot, and for you, we're going to be using the Golden Universal Tarot deck. And let's pull some cards for your current energies to begin. What do we need to know regarding your current situation, Group 3? Three. Oh. Let's get ourselves oracle cards here. Okay. So it looks like if you chose this group, you probably connected with the imagery on this card, how it depicts two people, and perhaps the words here also: vulnerability, showing up, honesty, and communion. Because it looks like this reading is going to be about connecting with others and socializing. This can be in regards to a romantic connection or platonic connections, like in plural, or maybe one specific platonic connection. This can also be just like the subject of socializing and getting yourself out there in general, and maybe being in the public eye also. That might apply, because we have solitude here as well as the Lovers. So there's a juxtaposition between isolation and aloneness versus connection and a pair that are, perfectly suit each other. And we also have the Three of Cups, which is about socializing, connecting with like-minded souls, and having a really good time together. We have this versus the Seven of Wands, which is about being very protective of your boundaries, sometimes going overboard with that, at which point it's like having your wall up and having like an egoic barrier that prevents you from being authentic with people. So there's a bit of juxtaposition here also between these two cards. So it seems like perhaps you've gone through, oh sorry, I forgot to mention we have the High Priestess here also, as well as a reverse sun. So you have two major arcanas here, and it looks like perhaps you've been in a period of solitude and introversion recently. Maybe this is kind of the place you're in right now, because the High Priestess tells us that you're very familiar with your inner world. The High Priestess has to do with everything yin, so spirituality instead of religion, introversion instead of extroversion, introspection. It also has to do with our subconscious, our inner mysteries, the darkness, nighttime. So this paired with solitude gives me the sense that you've probably been spending a lot of time in your own energy. You could have gone very familiar with yourself over this period, but perhaps because you've been dwelling in this space for so long, you are now finding it a little bit tricky to get yourself to the other spectrum of connecting with others and being more extroverted, because we have a reverse sun. This tells me you're feeling somewhat unlucky, like the sun isn't really shining on you in this department at the moment. This, along with the Seven of Wands, tells me that you have your guard up. You don't feel entirely safe to be vulnerable. You don't feel entirely safe to show up authentically or honestly. So again, this can be just in general, but this can also be more specific. Only you will know, since this is a general reading. This can be in regards to a particular situation or particular group of people or a specific person where you don't feel like it's safe to be authentic. And you find that it's been tricky connecting. Like, yeah, the sun isn't shining. Somehow this isn't going well. This isn't working the way I thought it could. And it seems like you're trying, which is why we have a reverse sun. You're trying and you're feeling as if you're failing. Like the universe isn't, the universe doesn't have your back. It's that kind of feeling that I'm getting from these two cards. Let's get some messages now. What do you need to hear, Group 3, regarding this? Group 3. Why do you feel unsafe? Why do you feel like you have to have your guard up with this person or these people in this situation? Okay, I'm going to get some work your light cards as well. Oh, I love to see this. This is perfect. Okay, so you have break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. You also have the great gathering. It's all coming together. Intuitive hits, soul tribe. I want to read to you what this card is about because it's very fitting. From the Moonology deck, you also have Don't Let Your Past Hold You Back, South Node, and It's Time to Take Action, New Moon in Aries. So this marks a new chapter for you because we have Aries energy here. Aries is also very fiery. It's the passionate baby of the zodiac. So you kind of have to be somewhat naive in order to utilize Aries energy. And I feel like that's kind of what's missing in your situation, is you're afraid to be naive, to be a fool, and to make a fool of yourself, when that's really the only way you can take progressive action in your situation, especially if solitude has been a comfort zone of yours and you've kind of lost touch with how it feels to be on the other side of the spectrum with being more extroverted. you're gonna have to fail a little bit and trip a little bit, in order to get comfortable with the other end again. So I think that's why we have Aries. A bit of naivety and innocence is required in order for you to get yourself out there and take action that's progressive. It seems like you are relating a lot of what's currently happening to your past and making stories around it that affirm old stories or that affirm old patterns about who you are, old beliefs about who you are. I think that's why we have the South Node here. Do not let these old beliefs hold you back from allowing yourself to evolve, because we all evolve. We are meant to evolve. We cannot stay the same. Do not affirm the same old stories, because that's not what's happening here. You cannot be who you used to be as much as you're trying to make yourself believe that. Do not affirm old beliefs. What's happening here is a path towards further evolution. What's happening here does not mean you're regressing. Let me read to you the Great Gathering so you can understand why it's necessary for you to break the chain and rewrite the future. Break the chain, break these patterns that you've resorted to in the past. You are not who you used to be, and here is why. The Great Gathering. It's all coming together. Intuitive hits, soul tribe. You're being called to let your intuition move you physically. You are connected to a group of souls who are weaving a web around the planet. And as you travel and share your creations, something is rethreaded. This card is an acknowledgement that you are either being called to connect with others who are like you at a soul level, or that you already are. You're being called to gather groups of people, either by leading them or becoming part of a group that can support you and your soul's personal mission. You are part of a group of souls who agreed to be here at this time in history to heal yourself, your ancestral line, and the planet, to raise consciousness so that we can continue to call this magnificent place home for eras to come. One of many consciously choosing to devote your life to something greater than yourself. It's time to call in your tribe by sharing your soul's voice and letting yourself be seen. When you share what is real and true to you, and you share the medicine that you most need, those who are like you will gather around you. You are your tribe. They are just like you. And just as you are longing and searching for them, they are longing and searching for you too. Let that sink in. As you share the medicine that you most need, those who are like you will gather around you. You are your tribe. They are just like you. And just as you are longing and searching for them, they are longing and searching for you too. You can place a hand on your heart and repeat after me. I choose now to let myself be seen. I am ready to call in my soul tribe and create a web of light all over the planet. And so it is. Let's one of my favorite cards in the deck. I just love this message so much. So if you've been worried about making a fool of yourself in front of certain people and certain connections, if you've been worried that you're going to be shut down if you are vulnerable or authentic, here's confirmation that that's not going to be the case. The Great Gathering tells us that you are connecting, or you're going to be connecting with people who are your tribe, who will get you no matter how silly or foolish you come off. Okay? As much as you are seeking them, they are seeking you. They need your unique flavor. So no matter how foolish you come off, there's really nothing to lose here. And even if people don't accept you for your authenticity and vulnerability, that's just, helpful input for you to look elsewhere for your tribe. So you have nothing to lose here. You really don't. And this is such a great omen. It tells me that your energy is in the right place. You have learned to be authentic enough to attract the right people into your life. That's huge. It's really huge. And there was one message that came through as I was reading. Now I can't remember. Okay, might come through later. Let's get a card from Osho, actually. What do we need on Osho? Oh, I love that. We have the Two of Cups, friendliness. I also want to read this to you. And isn't it just so fitting that we've been talking about friendship, connections, and allowing yourself to be seen, and now we have friendliness, which in Osho is, I think, like the epitome of love that we can find with other people. And it says here, the branches of these two flowering trees are intertwined, and their falling petals blend together on the ground in their beautiful colors. It is as if heaven and earth are bridged by love, but they stand individually, each rooted in the soil in their own connection with the earth. In this way, they represent the essence of true friends. Mature, easy with each other, natural. There is no urgency about their connection, no neediness, no desire to change the other into something else. This card indicates a readiness to enter this quality of friendliness. In this passage, you may notice that you are no longer interested in all kinds of drama and romances that other people are engaged in. It is not a loss. It is the birth of a higher, more loving quality born of the fullness of experience. It is the birth of a love that is truly unconditional, without expectations or demands. Beautiful. Osho says, first meditate, be blissful, then much love will happen of its own accord. Then being with others is beautiful, and being alone is also beautiful. Then it is simple too. You don't depend on others, and you don't make others dependent on you. Then it is always a friendship, a friendliness. It never becomes a relationship. It is always a relatedness. You relate, but you don't create a marriage. Marriage is out of fear. Relatedness is out of love. You relate as long as things are moving beautifully. You share. And if you see that the moment has come to depart because your paths separate at this crossroad, You say goodbye with great gratitude for all that the other has been to you, for all the joys and all the pleasures and all the beautiful moments that you have shared with the other. With no misery, with no pain, you simply separate. So, what Osho is saying here regarding a relatedness and not a relationship, from what I remember, comes from Buddhism, and is the idea that there's no such thing as a noun when it comes to how two people connect. To place a label onto it is to make it permanent, and it cannot be. It is always evolving, the connection you have with other people. So it is always a relatedness. It's a verb. It's an experience. And the experience changes moment to moment to moment. And I think when we can begin to see our connections this way, we have nothing to lose. We are always rooted, like the image here, in our connection to what is truly solid, to the earth, to our being. This is how we can become okay with either being alone or being with others. It's like we become unbothered. Both are great. Both are rich and full. And I think you have become very comfortable with your aloneness, and this marks this Scorpio season, perhaps marks the start of you now transitioning into working with others in your evolution, in your spiritual evolution. This new chapter is going to involve more of connecting with others to learn about yourself. Okay, now let's get a couple of cards to close this reading off. What can we expect in the near future? 3, near future, please. This one card. 3. Alright, so in the near future, you're going to experience the completion and total integration of a very big lesson. This has to do with moving from a place of lack and unworthiness to a place of abundance and receptivity. And since we've been talking about connecting with others and feeling safe in that, the 5 of Pentacles is telling us that you used to feel unworthy of connection, unworthy of love and attention and affection from others. In the near future, you're going to be completely putting this to a close. You're coming very close to learning the full scope of what you have to learn in order to let this go. So it's great. It's amazing to see all 3 of these cards together. With the Ace of Pentacles, this is the start of something new in your physical reality, something you haven't experienced yet. A new relationship, new friendship, or an evolution in your relationship or friendship, like a leveling up. This can also be moving places, getting a new job, and all of that, which I'm sure you're familiar with when I say that with this card a lot. But I think in your case in particular, this is elevating what you think is possible, like accessing a new level of depth with people, or accessing a new level of confidence and comfort when you're connecting with people. or maybe because you're going to be more confident in yourself, you're going to be able to do a lot more things and take on a lot more opportunities, say in your career, perhaps with public speaking or showing up as a leader. All of that is pretty much encapsulated in the Ace of Pentacles. So that's amazing. So to summarize, very soon you're going to come to the total integration and completion of eradicating the belief that you are unworthy. And in letting go of this old pattern of yours, you're going to be able to feel a lot more safe with others, a lot more comfortable and confident in connecting with others. That will then open up doors to take on more opportunities in your life, which is amazing. So this is the end of your reading, group 3. I hope that you found this helpful. Really hope that this resonated. Let me know in the comments if it connected with you. And I'm sending you so much love, light, and healing. I'll see you in another reading or in another video. I'll leave you with a message from today's sponsor. Thank you so much to Squarespace for supporting my channel all throughout this year and for sponsoring today's video. I've been with Squarespace for a while, and my favorite thing about them is perhaps how they can help any plain old business build a strong professional online presence. All their templates are crafted by world-class designers to help you stand out and make a strong impression with your customers. All Squarespace online stores are also designed to maximize the visibility of your brand and help shoppers find your products. With Squarespace email campaigns, you can easily create stunning emails with powerful editing tools and customizable layouts, all while staying consistent with your website's branding. Not to mention, their award-winning customer support is available 24/7 via email or live chat if you ever come across any issues, so that website creation doesn't have to take too much of your precious time. Check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, you can go to my link, squarespace.com/ediyasmr, to save 10% off of your first website or domain. Thank you so much for listening and for watching today's video, and thanks again, Squarespace, for all your help. I'll see you in the next one.